I don't know. Is she hot? If she's not hot, I probably won't remember her. I only remember the hot ones.
I see. You're a man of culture as well.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise. Swearsies, it's just a fact. It's totally science. Go ahead, look it up. Thanks so much. I have heard the call. The people are hungry for neckbeards. And this is a story that was posted once upon a time, a couple years ago. I had it in the to be narrated stack, and I think the janitor cleaned my desk off or something, and it just went away. But now it's back and remastered or revisited, and I thought that we should take a look at it. So let's do exactly that today. The Saga of Shopenbeard, Revisited, part number 1. Welcome to user Elron the Dark One. Loving that name, make sure not to cut yourself on that edge. Beards and philosophy. Greetings, my esteemed connoisseurs of facial hair and intellectual pursuits. Today, I unveil the first chapter of my entanglement with a neckbeard philosopher. Hey, I resemble that remark. This is a tale that we shall dub the Saga of Schopenbeard. Apologies in advance for any linguistic lapses, English not being my mother tongue. Dude, what are you talking about? You're already styling on us. Linguistic lapses? You're fluent. You're essentially a native speaker at this point. Special kudos to Fun with Failure for his stellar narrations. Where is that guy? Do check out his rendition, subscribe, support Patreon. The man's a virtuoso in storytelling. Yeah, I kind of enjoy his twangy voice sometimes. Also, shout out to the one and only ReddX for his most amazing and delicious narrations and ReddX exclusives. Good branding. But I don't think this one is a ReddX exclusive because it shout out Fun with Failure. But we'll show it love regardless. It's fine. I'm not a jealous man. A little bit jealous. Now, arm yourselves with a goblet of the purest dew from the mountain, some Doritos, and let the revisited chronicle commence. I have no idea how it differs from the first one. Was this completely rewritten or just stuff added in? Old posts are deleted. I can't even reference them. I don't know. It's fine. The cast. OP, yours truly, a male philosophy major. Mr. Wilde, my trusty companion, a skinny philosophy major with long black hair and a fascination for Oscar Wilde, theology, and the occult. Seems like an interesting character. Then there's Shopenbeard, the towering neckbeard of our tale, a big boy, standing at a lofty 6'2" and 187 pounds. I don't know if that's what makes a big boy. Then again, you're not American, so it probably is a bit of a big boy in your neck of the woods. I'm 6'2", easily over 200, but that's mostly because I love those cheddar biscuits from Red Lobster.
You taking her to Red Lobster with the cheddar biscuits?
Shopenbeard was clad in anime emblazoned t-shirts, boasting a formidable neckbeard and a ponytail that rivaled the mightiest of medieval war horses. I mean, you're making him sound kind of cool. He's also a philosophy major, entering a year after me. He exuded that classic scent of coffee and cigarettes, a trademark fragrance among philosophy students. It is a great substitute for a personality. Trust me, I know. Schopenbeard's passions ranged from One Piece and black humor to disdain for feminism and women's entitlement. He revered Schopenhauer, earning him his moniker despite, or maybe because of the latter's notorious misogyny, classic superiority complex, and the quintessential atheistic euphoria. His laughter, a strident shriek, echoing like thunder from Olympus itself, audible across the entire university. God, this is written so well. You're definitely an educated individual, aren't you, OP? Now I recall why it was in the to-be-read pile, and now I'm sort of sad that it fell out of it. But better late than never, huh? Now, with our dramatis personae introduced, let the recounting of my inaugural encounter with this neckbeard commence. The chill of the university morning embraced us as Mr. Wilde and I, punctual beings, engaged in our habitual pre-class rendezvous at the cherished university coffee shop. Oh God, how long's the pre-class rendezvous? You think I want to sit here and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee for 2 hours? Well, I do! Amidst the banter about philosophy, professors, and the musings of academia, we strolled towards our first class of the day, Metaphysics 101. Oh, is that about the failed physics within Zuck's virtual world that nobody went to? Pretty niche, pretty niche. Upon entering the classroom, our eyes fell upon a figure immersed in love, women, and death. Was that a book or something? Or is he wearing the t-shirt? It was none other than Schopenhauer's most polemic teachings, a choice by the enigmatic Shopenbeard. His towering presence, neckbeard flowing like a waterfall, and one-piece earbuds resonated with a symphony of cringe. Clad in an anime t-shirt, a dress jacket, cargo pants, and H&M casual shoes, he seemed oblivious to our existence until he commenced his waddle towards us. What exactly did you do to catch this beast's attention? Or he just has like a beard radar and he's like, those guys are kind of like me. Yeah, kinda, maybe. As he settled beside me in the near-empty classroom, an extended hand signaled the beginning of a handshake calamity. Wow, empty classroom, kind of like the metaverse itself. Don't shake his hand. You have no reason to shake his hand.
I'm gonna shake your hand. I want to shake his hand.
But OP definitely did, and he says, my hand, unprepared for the impending force, endured a grip reminiscent of a great white shark bite, just unnecessarily forceful. Yeah, I know that type of handshaker, they're just overcompensating. It should be a firm handshake. Do not actively try to crush the other person's hand. That's just the biggest small peepee energy. OP says, ignoring that pain, I introduced myself, inquiring if he was a newcomer to philosophy. With a chuckle, Schopenbeard affirmed his extensive readings and impressive essay repertoire, establishing his intellectual prowess. Yes, it is vitally important that I make myself seem smart to these people I just met. Mr. Wilde, standing by, was introduced next, and Shopenbeard, ever the source of discomfort, queried if he was my girlfriend. Laughter erupted, echoing through the halls as Shopenbeard mockingly attributed that question to Mr. Wilde's long hair and starving African kid's physique. So what you're saying is that you find him sort of attractive. You can ask him out. Don't be shy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you flip this situation right on its head. Thankfully, class did commence, rescuing us from the awkwardness. Post-class, Schopenbeard engaged in masterful teacher sucking up, granting us an opportunity to escape to the sanctuary of the coffee shop. However, our reprieve was short-lived, as the unmistakable voice of Schopenbeard beckoned us towards our next class. That's all for part 1. Thank you for your time, and may your days be free from neckbeard encounters. Relatively short part 1, but well written. Overall, I think it's sort of a travesty that dude's named after Schopenhauer, because Schopenhauer's influenced a lot of things in my life. You often hear me say that, like, life is a constant process of dying. I made a joke like that in the Beard School video yesterday. And yeah, that's basically a direct quote from Schopenhauer. A sense of humor is the only divine quality of man. Pretty base take, if you ask me. Another thing I often say is, expectation's the mother of disappointment. Here's another quote from Schopenhauer. The safest way of not being very miserable is not to expect to be very happy. It's the same thought. Maybe Schopenbeard just bastardizes Schopenhauer's entire philosophy, but I don't really know. I see some of myself in Schopenbeard, and I guess it'll just be a spot the difference type of thing for me. What is the difference between me and this beard? I do think that the line is very thin. So let's continue on into part 2, and we can find out just a little bit more. The Saga of Shopenbeard Revisited, Part 2, Dance of Distaste. I find most dances distasteful, mostly because I'm not very good at them. Salutations once more, aficionados of beard lore. Heh, that rhymes. Today we waltz into the second installment of the saga that is the Neckbeard Chronicles. I mean, it can't be the Neckbeard. It's a Neckbeard Chronicle, specifically of our protagonist, Schopenbeard, who continues to weave his unique tapestry of discomfort, and I, your humble narrator, am here to recount the cringeworthy dance that ensued. There's that humble narrator thing again. It wasn't in the first part of this. Somebody else referred to themselves as a humble narrator recently, and I pointed out that that is how I used to introduce myself on my gaming channel when that was a thing. But also, like me, they might have stolen it from A Clockwork Orange. Anyway, if you recall, following our morning ordeal, Mr. Wilde and I decided to linger at the coffee shop for a brief respite. Alas, our sanctuary proved to be ephemeral, for the unmistakable tones of Shopenbeard's voice echoed in the air. What did it say? Don't leave me behind, I need friends, please. Something like that. In a moment of clear distress, Mr. Wilde, bearing the burden of that past encounter, urged me to flee. OP, let's run, now, he pleaded. However, my aversion to rudeness and the irresistible pull of my tobacco craving compelled me to pause. Mr. Wilde, abandoning his cigarette mid-puff, hastened towards class. Damn, he really didn't like being called a girl, did he? It's fine, dude. If you want a battle of wits, then a battle we shall have. Hey, OP, are you going to history of modern philosophy? Shopenbeard inquired, as I savored the calming embrace of my cigarette. Yeah, Schopenbeard, I'm just gonna finish my cigarette before class, I replied, attempting to navigate the impending storm. Hey, that's good. I was planning on smoking one myself while I contemplate the cattle. The best so far has been for med school. He chuckled, referring to women not as individuals, but as livestock. Charming. An internal cringe ensued, but I maintained a stoic facade. And there the rifts between him and I start to show. I might rail against feminism once in a while, for the lulz. I don't really have strong opinions on it because guess what? I'm a dude. And then, yeah, in the first post we talked about his hatred of women's entitlement, but this isn't any sort of entitlement. This is just, in general, hating an entire gender. It's not a good look. That's what I'll say. Definitely unlike myself. Thank God. Okay, I guess, I mumbled, prompting Shopenbeard to dive deeper into his pool of discomfort. What do you mean, okay, I guess? You just gave him permission, essentially. I know this type of person because I am this type of person. He thrives on the discomfort. Much like myself, he's probably an elder god from a long-forgotten religion who's taken the form of a human to blend in. And he's now taken a reigning over horror, cringe, and shame. Now, his source of power comes from misogyny. My source of power comes from finding stories of neckbeards, nice guys, incels, essentially secondhand misogyny. And I read these stories over the internet to farm the emotions of horror and cringe in order to feed upon. Now, it might seem that he could be stronger than me because he's out there farming the cringe directly, whereas only I have second-hand cringe to deliver. But the difference is that I deliver it on a massive scale, thousands of views every single day. I'm slowly gaining power from this little cult community of ours, and soon I will reign supreme once again. Or so theorizes Bearcat999 in the recent community post that we had. So yes, my point being the only way to stop him is to confront it directly. Yeah, they might be dumb, but I wouldn't mind dunking it in them. See that one with the blonde hair? Super suckalicious. he proclaimed. Okay, go over there and talk to her, bro. Oh, you're not going to? You just want to stand here and make your little comments to somebody? Well, I'm not going to be party to that. Goodbye. And then you flick the cigarette into his eyes for maximum effect. That's a real exclamation point on the sentence. Unable to endure any of this further, OP feigns an urgent need to leave. Oh, look at the time. I'm gonna be late. See ya, I declared, escaping the clutches of cringe. Yes, but only just. See ya, OP, he responded, engulfing himself in the smoke of his ignited cigarette as we parted ways. I hope he blows that smoke in his eye. I hope he tears up like a little baby boy and that blonde girl laughs at him. Post-cringe, OP sought refuge in the front row of the classroom, where Mr. Wilde, undeterred by the earlier escapade, indulged in poems from the quote-unquote damned poets. Surprise struck as Shopenbeard once again waddled towards us, plopping his backpack beside mine, signaling the commencement of yet another dance of distaste. Dude, just ice him out. It's not that hard. I'd get up and move seats immediately as he sat down. Nope. And then there's a little bit of humor paired with it. He's gonna look like the asshole if he gets mad. This is 4D chess. We all need to brush up. But OP just says, "Oh, are you in this class too, Schopenbeard?" I cautiously inquired. "Indeed, OP. I must express my great disappointment in the aesthetics of the cattle present." Wow, just... He's gonna continue on. With that, while in class... I don't know, man. "It is disappointing indeed, yet not unsurprising," he remarked, casting a disdainful eye over his fellow students. You know, this is why no one likes you, right? And that includes myself. Now I need to go sit somewhere else. Lucky for us, class commenced just as he finished that disgusting non sequitur. My spine was spared from additional powdering, at least temporarily. That's good. Nice tip, bro. It's important to take breaks in between sets, lest your spine crumble completely. And then I'm gonna come over and hoover up all that spine powder right up my schnoz to reinforce my own backbone. Yes! The weak must make way for the strong. The lecture proceeded uneventfully, and much to our relief, Schopenbeard's need to suck up to the teacher was more pressing than the need to unleash another distasteful barrage of opinions. Seizing this opportunity, Mr. Wilde and myself executed a swift escape from the building, leaving Schopenbeard to his habitual teacher-sucking-up routine. We could call it brown-nosing in the future. It's a brown-nosing routine. And that was funny too, because it implies that he got a little bit of poo-poo on his nose from kissing her beehole. Thus concludes another chapter in the saga of Shopenbeard Revisited. Until next time, may your encounters be free of neckbeard-induced discomfort. Gratitude for your enduring patience, and may your days be both awesome and exquisite. Yeah, generally they are. Thank you. What's not awesome or exquisite is Schopenbeard's open disdain of any women that deign to exist around him. He really thinks he's God's gift. You're an anime fan, pursuing a liberal arts degree that hasn't contributed anything to the world, aside from word vomit. You've never had a thought worth remembering or repeating, and the fact that you read all of these philosophy books and try and parrot it back to people is not going to change that. You're not reflecting on what you're reading at all. You're not adding on to it. You're just putting it into your brain to be repeated later. And that's probably a lot of the problem with any school system in general, from what I've seen, but that's a rant for another day. I shall stop the rambling now, and we will continue on into part number 3 right now. The Saga of Schopenbeard Revisited, Part 3. The Bearded Shadow. Like a 5 o'clock shadow, or your beard is so big it creates a shadow, or only your shadow has a beard? Wouldn't that be weird? Like my shadow self decided not to shave. Anyways, salutations, my esteemed comrades in cringe. Let us once again delve into the distasteful world of Shopenbeard with the third entry of this saga. Yeah, we really burning through it. Them's are pretty short, you know? Brace yourselves for an adventure drenched in the dew of mountainous tales. Yes, indeed, I'm ready to sip that sweet nectar.
We have come for your nectar.
Trigger warning, more sexism lurks ahead. As if you didn't know. The cast, OP, yours truly, male philosophy major, Miss Lacken, another ally in the university battleground, a slender philosophy major with flowing black hair, embracing a fascination with psychoanalysis, particularly the Lacanian variant, and a serial smoker. They should look into the psychology of the type of people who decide to become psychology students. A lot of y'all seem to be cut from the same cloth, that's all I'm saying. We also have Mr. Wilde, of course, my closest companion in the realm of academia, a lanky philosophy major with long black hair. Like everybody else, I guess. A faithful disciple of Oscar Wilde in his fashion, Mr. Logic, another ally in the philosophical trenches, a brawny figure with a short military-style black hair, clad in the epitome of casual clothing, and Shopenbeard, the infamous Neckbeard, big boy, standing tall at around 6'3". Oh, he was 6'2" a couple stories ago. Well, he's taller than me now. Adorned in an anime stamped t-shirt paired with long cargo pants and a dress jacket. You know, for class. His thunderous laughter, explicit sexism, and unwavering devotion to One Piece are the hallmarks of this eccentric and distasteful character. Like, granted, yeah, the sexism part I hate. I don't know that much about One Piece, but if I did, well, there's probably some parallels that we could draw here. But I can't hate it preemptively, and I definitely don't hate the thunderous laughter either. That's one of the purest forms of human emotion, man. You can't shit-talk that. I guess you could, whatever. So, with the cast introduced, the tale continues. After the cringe-inducing encounters of our first week, I gathered with my other best friends in our cherished coffee shop, Mr. Wilde, Mr. Logic, and Miss Lacken. As we reminisced about the awkwardness of our initial meetings with Schopenbeard, an unsettling feeling overcame us. Ripples in our coffee signaled his approach, and we steeled ourselves for another barrage of cringe. Trust me, OP, your mind shield is not strong enough. I'm already inside your brain. Mr. Wilde whispered with disdain, "Oh, great. This fatso again." A moment later, Shopenbeard loudly announced his presence. "Oh, hello, OP and Mr. Wilde. I see you're still pulling the African kid look. The only thing missing are the stomach worms." Shopenbeard declared, his laughter ringing through the air like Zeus's wrath. That's when you just pull the joke apart in front of his eyes. Be like, yes, African children have parasites, and apparently that's hilarious. I understand that all of this stems from your own insecurity about your body image, but I'm not going to be party to it any further. And then walk away. Wow, easy. But everybody just stands there awkwardly. You're participating. Even if you're not actively consenting, you're letting it happen. Who are you expecting to swoop in and save you? You either push against it or you tolerate it, and I guess everybody here chose tolerate it. Anyway, to describe Schopenbeard's shriek more in depth, do you know those animes like One Piece where characters have special attacks? Well, Schopenbeard's laughter was one of those, which I baptize as Sanda Shuriku, or Thunder Shriek. 4d8 sonic damage in English. 4d8? That is a lot of direct damage, dude.
Now that's a lot of damage!
My thumbnails only cause like 1d4 psychic damage. But then again, you get like hundreds of thousands of impressions per day, and yeah, I think I'm still doing more raw damage overall. Just as long as we don't get into a one-on-one confrontation, I should be fine. If you want to get an idea of how Sanda Shuriku sounded, just search in YouTube One Piece Blackbeard laugh. See? Ha, ha, ha. It's similar to the laugh I was doing. I nailed it. It's fine.
Just be careful in this Catholic university with that helpless kid look. See? Ha, 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 ha.
He added mockingly. That's when you look him in the eye and again tear apart the joke. Yes, Catholic children are molested quite often, aren't they? Guarantee you he wouldn't know how to respond. The only way that he gets to put on his little show is if everybody stands there in like shocked, abject horror. Anyway, we all mustered awkward chuckles, bracing ourselves for what lay ahead. See? You're chuckling at the shit. You're causing all of this. If you don't like it, say you don't like it. Why is this shit so hard? Oh, hello, Shopenbeard. It's you, I said, attempting to break the tension that clung to the air like an uncomfortable humidity. My comrades, victims of the infamous Sandashriku, maintained a collective silence. Mr. Wilde wore a passive-aggressive smile, Miss Lacken exhibited a mix of surprise and disbelief, and Mr. Logic sported a poker face so masterful that it could rival the great players of old. Like, Mr. Wilde is the one under direct attack here, so I don't see why he doesn't stand up and go, "Oh, fuck off, Schopenbeard. Nobody here likes you. Nobody wants you around."
Nobody even wants you here.
Like, just lay it down as flat as possible. They'd back you up, but everybody else wants somebody else to take the first step. You know what I'm saying? In response to my tentative greeting, Shopenbeard, ever unimpressed, uttered,
Well, OP, aren't you gonna introduce me?
"Ew, why?" Feeling it would be impolite to withhold introductions, I obliged. "Everyone, Shopenbeard, everyone." Impolite to withhold introduction? Yeah. We definitely want the guy who refers to women as cattle to hang out with our group that does feature a female, whether it did or not. But it's especially egregious if it does, you know? Grab your balls and step up to protect her if nothing else. It's a little bit white knighty, but Schopenbeard really is scum of the earth. Even if she wasn't here, I probably would want him here. Your mindset is fucked, boyo. Unfazed by my brief introductions, Schopenbeard asserted,
Now, OP, that's no way to introduce a friend, is it? I'm Schopenbeard, first semester philosophy major, and, who is this female?
The silence persisted from Mr. Logic and Mr. Wilde. See, he's already started in. Does no one here have a dong long enough to swing hither and thither and fend off this lecherous neckbeard fiend? Apparently not. They're like, the lady can fend for herself, which is true, I guess. But all I'm trying to do here is save some time and some heartache, you know? Let's speed run this acquaintanceship. Still reeling from the cringe shock, Miss Lacken, in a valiant attempt at nicety, chimed in, Hey, I'm Miss Lacken. You must know Miss X. Miss X is a friend of Miss Lacken who is in her first semester of philosophy. Trust me, this guy does not know any ladies whatsoever, in class or otherwise. That's why he's clung to OP so hard. He thinks this is his big in
because they've got a female in their group.
Puzzled, Shopenbeard scratched his, to his credit, trimmed neckbeard and emitted a greasy-toned,
I don't know. Is she hot? If she's not hot, I probably won't remember her. I only remember the hot ones.
I see. You're a man of culture as well.
At least he didn't call her cattle, I guess. Miss Lacken, her face a canvas of astonishment, endured a moment of silence. Then, summoning a fake smile, she declared, I really gotta go now, or I'll be late to class again. A common plight given her considerable distance from the university, and with that, she made a swift exit. Shopenbeard, in an unusual display of normalcy, bid her farewell with a simple,
See you, Miss Lacken.
Yeah, there was no hate to see you go, but love to watch you walk away, something like that. He probably just couldn't think of it in time. His brain is still reeling with, oh my god, I talked to a female. Seconds later, A muttered proclamation from Shopenbeard echoed,
She's hot. I'll remember her.
Cue the cringe once more. She'll remember you too, just not in the way that you hope. Mr. Logic, opting for a swift exit, offered a quick bye and departed, leaving Mr. Wild and me alone with the looming cringe machine. I mean, why can't you just leave too? It seems like everybody's going. Should we all just go? Mr. Wild, unable to endure the situation, excused himself under the pretense of a coffee shop purchase, vanishing from the scene. Left standing alone, I, in anticipation of another potential Sanda Shriku, blurted out in a rushed tone, "Well, nice seeing you, but I gotta study, so I'm heading to the library." With an overexcited tone, he exclaimed,
Wow, me too, OP.
Your best friends forever. My escape plan backfired as he eagerly joined me on my journey to the library. Maybe you could just ditch him in the stacks or something. Be like, oh, could you go search this section? And then you run out the door. Little did I know, the library would become the stage for Schopenbeard's next and most extreme cringe-inducing act. He's escalating, OP. He's slowly escalating to see what he can get away with. If you would have called him out on the cattle thing, he probably never would have talked to you again, you know? We could have nipped this in the bud nice and early, but now,
things are getting out of hand, ain't they?
It's kind of even meta cringe because the cringe thing here is OP not just telling him to go screw. You could have stopped it all. The brake handle was right there, but at least we get a good story out of it. As we sat attempting to study, Shopenbeard fixated on a med school student passing by, deploying his other infamous signature attack, the Gyoshi Faku, or Gaze Fudge, 2d8 psychic damage. What's the cooldown on that? How many spell points does it have? Then, after licking his lips, he whispered to me something which still makes me cringe today.
I wouldn't mind sinking it in her. It's gotta be the most delicious head of cattle I've seen. Too bad she must be really dumb, because of course, beauty's inversely proportional to intelligence in livestock.
If that were true, you would be much smarter than you are. See? It's so easy to flip it around. It's just a little verbal judo. You call that stranger dumb, I call you ugly and dumb in just one sentence. I hope you're taking notes on this. I was stunned. Again, no counter. Silent consent, which is an oxymoron, of course. To my dismay, he continued on.
She'd look even better while being redacted in all her holes by tentacles, like in those adult anime videos,
he added, before unleashing a thunderous Sanda Shriku. Just point it out to him, be like, this is why you don't have any friends. You realize that, right? The ripples of the shriek made everyone stare at us, including the victim of Schopenbeard's Gyoshi Faku. My spine was officially powdered, and we were officially banished from those sacred halls of silence. Why is it we all of a sudden? You just be like, hey, librarian, it wasn't me, it was him. I got some studying to do. You kick him out, and then, oh, he's gone. Although, thankfully, no one heard the verbal atrocity that Shopenbeard had actually said, except for me. Shopenbeard, undeterred, said with indignation,
What a bitch. Typical female entitlement.
Yes, why do females specifically feel entitled to a quiet space at the library? Do you even hear some of the things you say? OP replies angrily, what the hell, Shopenbeard? Don't you know that's a library? To my surprise, he missed a very important part of this point, his egregious comments. He replied with a scoff,
Yeah, but it was just a little laugh, OP. What a stuck-up old hag.
The librarian probably heard the comment. They got ears like bats, don't you know? And that little laugh probably hurt her ears. So good. I'm glad she exercised her right to deny service. Although I am still lost as to why OP actually left with Shopenbeard. With a sigh, I stopped responding to that brick wall and checked the time on my phone. I'm gonna be late to class, so I bolted before they left me stranded outside with this Lord of the Cringe. He might have ascended to Lord, but he'll never be an elder god. Did you literally just start running, or did you say something? I hope you just ran away. No explanation. Schopenbeard exclaimed, "Hey, OP, wait!" and began to follow me into the classroom. A second more, and I would have been late, thus injuring my grade. I sat in the first row, as usual, and indeed, Schopenbeard plopped his rotund behind on the seat next to me. The class, thank God, was uneventful. He doesn't even have this class. He's just following you around now like a lost puppy. You really want to make a human connection, Shopenbeard? I'll give you a little tip. Don't be an asshole! Now you can grasp the essence of why I've titled this segment, The Bearded Shadow. Indeed, it's a great title. And Shopenbeard trailed me like a shadow at 5 p.m. I admit I should have put my foot down and told him I didn't want him around. But 5 years ago, I was a timid soul, incapable of standing up for myself. Well, it's good that you recognize that now and have sought to improve. I forgive you for all future transgressions, though I might still make fun of it a little bit. Noodle spine, I believe, is the jargon in this subreddit. That's right, part of the branding. Moreover, my upbringing instilled in me the virtue of always being polite and nice to everyone. Yeah, then you get in the real world and realize some people really take advantage of that. However, I've strengthened my spine since then, thanks in no part to my buddy Based Zeus. Check him out. I did, gotta admit, it's pretty fucking cringe. Got some like pickup artist vibes to it. I don't know. I'm judging it off like the first 30 seconds of a video called "This is how to make a girl chase you, how to get out of the friend zone part 2. And yeah, stuff like that always sort of skeeves me out. The answer to all of those questions is authenticity. Be authentic. If they don't like the authentic you, then it wasn't meant to be anyways. I should make a YouTube short that's just like, this will answer all your relationship problems. You don't need a poorly animated Zeus to tell you things. Anyway, after class, our post-academic rendezvous led us home. Predictably, Shopenbeard was hot on our heels. Mr. Wilde strolled home, Miss Lacken boarded a bus, and I hopped onto another, which to my dismay coincided with Shopenbeard's. It probably didn't, dude. He's stalking you at this point. Fortunately, it's just a 20-minute ride to my sanctuary. Those 20 minutes, however, were inundated with Schopenbeard's customary monologues until the sweet embrace of home rescued me. Hell yeah, country roads, take me home.
To the place I belong.
As I disembarked from the bus, he plugged into his gargantuan one-piece earbuds and rode away. Oh good, he really does live in that direction, maybe. If only that bus would take him to another continent. In any case, I breathed a sigh of relief, finally escaping the clutches of Shopenbeard. To my esteemed beard aficionados, that concludes part number 3. Sayonara, arrivederci, and goodbye. Thank you for sharing these moments with me, and may you have a truly exquisite and magnificent day. Boy, with all these adjectives for having a nice day, you might think it's starting to get a little tongue-in-cheek. I told you, my day's been pretty good. Schopenbeard did ruin it a little bit. Schopenhauer is rolling over in his grave, but we'll get into another part. There are 7 parts in total, and I could run through them all, but we'll see how we feel at the end of part 4, I guess. So let's roll on through. The Saga of Shopenbeard, Revisited, Part 4, The Bearded Blocker. Honestly, I hope he's blocking himself, which is basically just him existing. No woman in the universe would ever hang out with this dude. Or would they? I guess we'll see. Greetings, aficionados of the follicle follies. My head is full of follicle follies, thank you. Gather round as I unfurl the next installment in the epic saga of Shopenbeard. I mean, epic might be overselling it a little bit, but it is a ride, I'll give you that. With that, we will reintroduce the key players. OP, you know him. There's also Miss Joplin, a woman with a very slender frame, exuding a toned aesthetic. Visual arts major, adorned with tattoos, sporting the alternative look of Janis Joplin, and has a penchant for tobacco and marijuana. Who doesn't like to kick it with Mary Jane every once in a while? There's also Shopenbeard, of course, our bearded protagonist. Big boy, towering at 6'3", adorned with a black ponytail. His attire, although improved with a button shirt paired with a dress jacket, does remain an eccentric concoction with his long cargo pants. Armed with an obsession for One Piece and a penchant for unsavory comments and jokes. Yeah, jokes. That's what we'll call them. And now the chronicle unfolds. In the same semester that Schopenbeard made his flamboyant entrance into my life, I embarked on a dual major adventure in philosophy and history. The prospect of unraveling the mysteries of the Romans, the Middle Ages, and beyond thrilled my inner nerd. Yeah, but again, do we really need to go into debt for it? I don't know. Doesn't feel great, but then again, I'm not the one paying the bills at your house, so do what you want. Alas, the reality of the major differed significantly. It was more about becoming a historian than basking in historical tales. Consequently, I only endured the first semester. In this interim, cringeworthy moments were scarce. A handful of ill-timed sandashirikus and inappropriate jokes were about the extent of Shopenbeard antics. And still, nobody called him out on it. We just chuckle politely. And that just spurs him on to newer and more degenerate heights. Enter Miss Joplin, a captivating visual arts student with a penchant for alternative aesthetics. We flirted, laughed, and the prospect of romance bloomed slowly as the semester progressed. Oh, look at you go, OP, look at you go! One fateful day, I mustered the courage to invite her on an official date to my favorite coffee shop. The one on campus? Bro, this is kind of lame. I don't know. Coffee shop is like a nice first date, but I really hope it's not just the one on campus. Otherwise, calling it a date feels sort of generous, but I don't know. If you're happy, I'm happy. Good for you. And of course, this date would soon be marred by the looming presence of our bearded nemesis. Yeah, he's always around. You thought he was gonna leave you alone because you're on a date? The presence of a female only spurs him on. He can smell the fro-moms. He wants to become the ultimate laugh-a-male. And good luck with that, I say. As we sat and began the process of flirtation, the ripples in my coffee announced the approaching bearded tempest. Pack it all up. We gotta get the fuck out of here, baby. I like how we refer to it as the process of flirtation, too. That's probably the most awkward way to describe anything ever. So, Shopenbeard, without a modicum of social grace, sauntered in, disrupting the delicate ambiance, ignoring Miss Joplin's presence, probably due to his misogyny, paired with disdain for alternative grunge aesthetics, and he nestled himself in right next to us. Are we going to chuckle politely, or are we going to be like, hey dude, I'm on a date, get out of here? I think I already know. In the midst of awkward grins and palpable tension, Shopenbeard lit a cigarette and unleashed a barrage of offensive 2016 edgy remarks. Yes, and still, nobody says anything. I'm mystified. Like, yeah, he blocked you, but you could have blocked him from blocking you pretty easy. Whatever, OP's admitted to his shortcomings, okay? Schopenbeard's monologue, a twisted blend of misogyny, off-color jokes, and disdain for feminism and women's entitlement, tainted the atmosphere. Bro, dude, man, OP, like the woman doesn't really know him. She's depending on you to get him the hell away. You didn't. There's gonna be no second date. I do not remember verbatim the torrent of shite coming from his gaping maw, but it ranged from,
Hey, did you hear that Z was shunned from class for never assisting? Serves that useless pothead right.
to,
What is there to eat? I'm as hungry as an Ethiopian orphan.
and also,
Oh, you know feminism cancer, right? Can you believe this feminazi said to me that I shouldn't make offensive jokes and comments, that I should read more and check my privilege?
classic 2016 shenanigans from both sides.
The audacity! She probably hasn't read anything more profound than crappy gossip magazines. But I get it, you know. She was probably maltreated as a child, and her father left her, and she hates men now, but that's no reason to be such a biatch, right? Anyway, she's probably lost in the park and drugged. Hope nothing happens to her.
What the hell are you talking about? If you listen really closely, you can hear OP's date's snail trail just start to dry up. She got nothing going on. It's like the Sahara down there. All because you couldn't tell a person that you don't even like to go away. Miss Joplin, frozen in shock, awkwardly excused herself, saying, "Well, thanks for the drink, OP," leaving me alone with the wreckage. Yeah, she left the window open. If you kicked him out, the date would go on. But it seems you're not going to, so okay, I'm not going to sit here for this. As she departed, Shopenbeard, ever oblivious to social cues, bid a cheery farewell, oblivious to the chaos that he had wrought. It dawned on me then, the depth of his lack of awareness, or perhaps the malicious intent behind his actions. Did he purposefully ignore her due to his contempt for artsy alternative students? This mystery lingers to this day in my mind. After this, Miss Joplin and I had some dates, but it went nowhere for reasons unrelated to Schopenbeard. Oh, well, that's good. You got your second chance and stuff and blew it some type of other way. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. That's fine. I'm glad he didn't ruin it completely, but I'm pretty sure he caused the first fracture that eventually led to the whole thing falling apart. As far as him being oblivious versus malicious, I do think that he's oblivious. Nobody has come out and laid it down really flat and told him why people find him deplorable. So he continues on and gets the forced grins and the awkward chuckles, and he's like, "I'm really killing it. I've got so many friends that seem to like me." Sort of a sad story if you really think about it. Do him the favor of telling him how it is. It might hurt in the moment, but you are helping him in the long run. Anyway, so my intrepid listeners, that concludes another chapter in the Chronicles of Shopenbeard. I trust you relished the cringe, and I extend my gratitude for sharing these moments with me. Until the next installment, may your days be exquisitely wonderful and magnificent. Yes, wonderful and magnificent indeed. So far, Schopenbeard is not like the largest degenerate that we've seen on the channel. He hasn't assaulted anybody, which I guess is a pretty low bar, but I don't know. We'll take it as far as Neckbeard stories go. His hatred for women runs so deep that it is concerning. I'd like to lay him down on the therapist couch and just ask him, like, "How was your relationship with your mother?" And then he talks for the next hour while I go get a coffee, and I'm like, "Okay, see you next week." Bring my money.
My bitch better have my money.
I guess we'll dive into it more a little bit later. I hope you enjoyed this episode, friends. If you did, like, comment, sub, maybe support me over on Patreon or with the YouTube memberships. I'd really appreciate that. There's also lots of other links in the description if you wanted to help me out. Teespring, Amazon affiliate, etc., etc. But if you can't afford any of that, I'm just glad you watched the video this far, honestly. Thank you very much. Always remember, friends, that you're loved, you're worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Promise, swears he